Bitch, for sure. Oh, fuck. As soon as I want to start the fucking video, fucking sounds want to go off. Weak ass fucking police sounds and shit. But flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, I want to teach everybody how to speak to animals, how to communicate with animals, how to talk to animals. Because a lot of people, you know, look at the animals and there's always different forms of communications based upon what kind of brain you created for yourself as a spirit. So based upon your level of consciousness, your level of awareness, and the worlds that you created, which is your solar system, your system for your soul, the technology that you created to experience the realm that you in. Based upon the technology you created for yourself, you're going to come up with different ways of communicating. So you, as being a human race, you got this way of communicating, and you got many different species, they have their way of communicating. You hear the birds? And that's a good segue to what we finna talk about right now. So you need to understand language in general. What is it based upon? So you can start to understand how to communicate. Because a lot of times language itself is just an offspring of communication. So language is just things that we created to understand what certain spirits is doing. And there's a certain spirit that's floating around that we all tap into that deals with communication, connectiveness, and things of that nature. So we tap into that spirit and we create body forms that we can use in that world also. So this is what you need to understand when we talk about as far as communicating. Now, we came up with a way of communicating that's dealing with vowels and what's the other word for it? Consonants. I think that's consonants. Now, just in the words itself, vowel is spoken in a vowel presence. Consonants is spoken in a consonant present. And what do I mean by that? A vowel, this is what you always need to remember. A vowel is right brain, which is the roundness, the vibration, more inner, is yin. The consonant is left brain, which is logical, more point of reference. So they're both in a 360 they're both in a 360 parameter. The only difference is the roundness go in and the square is what we can shape and form out of the roundness. So when you got a consonant, that's yang. When you got a vowel, that's yin. And what do I mean by that? When I say a vowel, that's internal. So these are internal sounds you have within you. You don't necessarily have to break it up or chop it up. It's just a vibe, and that vibe can resonate to a high level and be brought out and become a sound. Then when you have a consonant is chopping up that sound and making that sound go in a specific direction or play out in a specific shape or form. So a consonant doesn't even necessarily has to be with a person's voice. This is a consonant. So when you hear it and shit like that, that's why we apply K to a consonant, and we apply A, E, I, O, U with a vowel. Because you could do that internal. It's a flow. The flow wave is not chopped up into a particle. You didn't take the right brain and put it to a left brain perspective. But once you do that, you put the right brain to a left brain perspective, you get to create consonants. So now the could sound like you see, you chopped it up. So now that you start to understand language and start to predicate it on consonant and vowels, this will help you understand when you're communicating with animals a lot better, and how to differentiate what animal you're communicating with and their level of communicating. So when you want to look at the whole animal species itself, right? Birds are the highest evolved communicators amongst the animal race, and here's why. Animals use purely consonants. You see what I'm saying? So they didn't develop a piece or a beak to completely swipe out any internal. So birds are not, they're left brain beings. They're not really into vibrational wise emotions and feelings. This is why they're able to lead off in packs, because when you look at animals in general, animals are ruled by oversouls. They're not really individuals like that, but for the most part, when you look at birds, they roam in a whole pack. They go along with their spirit, no questions asked. This is why they all know how to go towards the south when it start to get cold. You know what I'm saying? Now when you talk about regular animals, like, well, all animals regular, but when you talk about animals like that don't got that mouthpiece, they go purely off vibration. So they're going purely off vowels. So that's more internal. So you get scared of those kind of animals because you feel the presence more than the communication. So for an example, you don't get scared of a bird. You don't scared of a bird, but when you hear a roar, or this, that, or third, you get scared because that's a vowel. It's right brain. So in order for an animal like that, like a dog or a cat or a bear, lion, for them to communicate, the only communication abilities on their conscious level that they created for them as spirits was the ability to only use vowel. They barely got any consonant in there, so they basically going off vibration. So this is why you're scared of a bear. This is why you may be scared of a raccoon, because it's more about the presence. You see what I'm saying? But then this is why it's more about the right brain, the feeling of something. You know what I'm saying? And the feeling become a sound, and you're like, oh yeah, I don't want to be around that. What the fuck is that? But then we hear something like, you don't hear no feeling, but you just hear the consonant, so something could be explained. So now let me start breaking down how you even communicate with animals for yourself. And this is what you need to understand, right? You being a spirit in the body you are, since you are in a human, right? You have developed communication styles in many different worlds. So this is what you need to understand when you're communicating with animals. Even if you're not using words, it's about the mental, and it's about where your spirit at also. It's about where your spirit at. And I need y'all to stop tying the spirit to shit. Because I could just turn around and say, the spirit is the mind. The spirit is the brain. The spirit is the water. Y'all stop tying the fucking spirit to shit. Y'all motherfuckers is lost. Just because we got representations that play out as shape and forms on what the spirit is actually doing, don't mean the spirit is that. See, when we in this realm of reality, as far as the energy realm, from non-physical to physical, we create that realm. We creating bodies and shapes and forms and systems for us to inhabit as spirits. So these things can only be mimics, illusions, because they die and transform. The spirit never dies and transform. It always sustains. This is why you got Akashic records. So these things can always die and transform and become different things and things of that nature. When you talk about cells and all different other levels of life. So this is what you clearly need to understand. When you're looking at this realm of reality, things can only be like something, but it is not something. That's why it has the ability to transform and take different shape and form. Think. Now when we're talking about communicating with animals, it even goes within the mind. And since the animals already, you're in a higher evolution than them, they didn't develop as many worlds of communicating than you. So they're limited to a few, so they're more tapped into the still, just on a universal scale of all animals, even the birds, they're more tapped into the yin than the external, because they're not given meanings and shapes and forms to what this meaning do if you kick a tree, or if you kick this and that the sound that come from it. They're not giving meaning and reasoning to that shit like we are. So we're developing languages based upon our vowels, and when our vowels come from the inner world, yin, right brain, and we push it out into the yang world, left brain, it gets chopped up, and then we can create consonants off of what we created as vowels. You see what I'm saying? So when you even communicating with an animal, don't even your mind, your spirit got to be in the right place. You see what I'm saying? So the moment you start to say you want to communicate with an animal, the moment you start looking at them like you're trying to observe them, the moment you're fucking up the communication. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people talk to animals like they're talking to people. So you start to say words and shit like that. Those shapes and forms and vibrations you're throwing at that animal, they don't quite understand that. So to them, you just like, what the fuck you talking about? And for you to even be paying attention to that concept, for you to even be talking to an animal with words and stuff like that, your spirit is in a certain place. And that's a certain place that the animal wouldn't even be able to communicate with. You see what I'm saying? Because your spirit is already in a space of wanting to analyze, and then it's coming out in your natural way of communicating, which your blind way of communicating, because you're too lost in the physical. So you communicate like this, and then you think the bird has or the animal has some sense of communication with you because you're lost. But this is what you need to understand. Quiet, silenceness. Now your spirit, and then your mind can't be on trying to observe, because that's what the animal gonna pick up on. It's like almost trying to. It's almost like trying to take a particle out of a wave. That's the mistake scientists always try to do. The moment you observe is the moment that you is friction and communicating and bouncing back off with what you're paying attention to, and then that orb in between is the light that both of y'all are channeling. That orb in between that y'all create is another world, and that world gets confused between the two balances if you're unbalanced and whatever you're looking at is unbalanced or lost. So even when it comes to communicating with animals, your spirit have to be in a place like it's already resonating, like you already know it's there. Therefore, once your spirit is like that, a bird might land on you because you giving off a spirit. That's why when y'all be watching my videos, I'm outside, y'all be seeing birds right in front of me, land right on, right, look right into the camera. Y'all be seeing my videos, the bird look right into the camera and shit like that. It don't move no matter how much sounds, and I be talking to y'all, but my spirit be in another place. You see what I'm saying? But this is what you need to understand when you're communicating, right? Your mind and plus your spirit gotta be in a place like it's already comfortably knowing it's already there, and y'all already the same thing. You see what I'm saying? Like y'all not the same thing per se, but you can't even have on your mind that you're trying to observe the bird. You see what I'm saying? You got to be looking at it like you look at people. It's already there. Same for an example. Say you're walking down an aisle at a grocery store with and you're in a grocery store with a bunch of people you don't know, but you know they there. So when you walking down an aisle and you see another person, for you not to just walk straight into them, you gonna walk around them because you know they there. But you don't got on your mind observing them like, what is this? What is they wearing? Like sometimes people observe what they wearing and stuff like that, and a person to pick up when a sense of a person trying to pay too much attention to a person. But for the most part, I'm just talking about on a natural basis. You not sitting there observing like, what is this? How's this person doing? This person arm flat like this person leg walk like this. You're not sitting there observing all that in your mind. You just know that they there and you walk past them and go by what's on your mind. That's how you have to be with the animal. Your spirit have to be there. You see what I'm saying? The moment your mind get on concepts like it's something different next to you or it's something else, that's what they pick up first. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, your spirit got to be in a place like it's just something like if you was to be walking down the aisle with another person. Now, for the most part, here's what you need to understand also. Now that you understand that, now you tapped into communicating because now y'all both on the same frequency where y'all could be around each other like it's normal. And this is now you're tapped into the animal arena because you're not looking at them or you're not having things on your mind or paying attention to some things or paying attention to certain things in this realm of reality on your mind that make y'all different. You get what I'm saying? Like when you get around another animal, the stuff on your mind is being aware of the reality of this is something different than me, or this is something. You're not looking at it like you're looking at another person. When you're around another person, the shit that's on your mind is different shit. When you're around next to an animal and shit, pay attention to what's on your mind. That's what's making y'all indifferent. You gotta have the complete stability on your mind like if that was another person. See what I'm saying? Therefore, y'all can skip the first battle. Now y'all on the second battle, which is communicating. The frequent level. So now, listen to the birds. Now I'm going to teach you how to communicate with each animal. Now when we talk about the bird, they dealing with pure consonants. So we know consonants is dealing with sound, yang. So what do we do to give meaning and references to anything that's yang, right? Yang or consonant like, right? We count it. We give it a sign. We give it a sigil. So when you're communicating with a bird, right? Bypass that it's a bird next to you. Let's get to the communication level. Since it's a consonant, communicating with a bird is listening to how many times they do the chirp, and how they do the chirp is the only sense of vowel that they have, because they diving into pure consonants. So listen, you hear it like 0 0. They communicating with me. Listen. 0 0 0. You hear that? That's a language. So 0 0 0. So he or she did 3. The first one was a choo choo choo. He about to come right by me. Watch this. Now when he come by me, once I'm talking to him, I'm gonna show y'all live on camera. Now the first one was 1 2 3, and it was choo choo choo. So that's giving you an understanding of on what's being communicated. You see what I'm saying? First of all, it's a substance of 3, so that's one word. You need to understand that. That's one word. Anytime we get a concept of three or something, that's one thing. Then what that one thing did was a zoo, zoo, zoo. You see what I'm saying? So now think about your vibrations now. Think about the vibrations on when you been, what make you feel like that. See, you got vibrations that's given to you from other people every day. Just think about it. What make you say, mm-mm-mm? What make you say, mm-hmm? What make you say that? You see what I'm saying? That's what the bird just did. So sit back and think about the vibration. It was like, you, do, you. So just think about, Now look, I just showed y'all. It was the red cardinal. Didn't I just tell y'all? Didn't I just tell y'all? Don't fly away. Don't fly away because I'll start paying attention. See, just because I paid, I hope I caught that. I hope I caught that. I started to pay attention. If I wouldn't have paid attention and kept talking to y'all, but stayed in the spirit, and then slightly moved the camera, the bird would have got closer. The red cardinal would have got closer. And then I would have sat here and had a conversation while the bird would have been sitting here right here on the chair. That's how it be. Like, that's really what it is. Like, I'm telling you. All right, I could do it live for y'all. Let me get into the other animals. And then I'm gonna do it live for another bird too. Let me do it live. Now, when we talk about you talk about motherfucker. No, look, all you gotta do now. See that word ain't no meanings. Wasn't no meaning and reasoning to that choo choo choo, right? But it was a vibration. So sit back. What make you think like See what I'm saying? So now you start to resonate and put the meaning or reason into whatever. Now I can sit here and decipher from all that, but I'm not having a full disclosure with the bird yet because I'm sitting here talking to y'all right now on this camera. So there's certain things I'm paying attention to in this reality, and there's certain things in this reality that's bouncing off with that and creating this right here. So I'm not gonna be able to fully dive in to what that conversation was, but I'm just giving you an example of how to communicate with the animals. And then once you sit back, you give off give off a vibration or give off another, you know what I'm saying? And then whatever you're feeling, the things that start to conceptualize from that feeling in your mind becomes the conversation, because you wouldn't have had that idea or thought in the first place if you didn't go through that. You see what I'm saying? So that's you could start pulling from or giving meaning or reason to what the conversation was, because you wouldn't have those thoughts and ideas in the first place if you didn't go through that process. So those new thoughts and ideas you end up having out of those, you put meanings and reasonings to the feelings that you communicating with the bird with, that was the conversation. See what I'm saying? So that's how y'all was talking. Now that bird got a level of consciousness that it understands now, and you got another level of consciousness that you understand now. So your next things that you're going to do in your day-to-day life is going to show. You can't pinpoint it. It's just going to show. You're going to be like, damn, how did I think of that this time? Because of what you just did previously. Now, when we talk about animals, now let's talk about the ground animals and things who develop. They go more based upon vowels. This is why when you show a dog that you're not going to run, you're not scared. This is why they won't bite you, because you're not giving off any vibrational scareness. You see what I'm saying? To make the animal feel threatened. So that's giving you a point right there. Oh, okay. This is how they communicate. Off the vowel, off right brain. So fuck, you could tell a dog all day, don't bite me, don't bite me, don't bite me. But the spirit you're in is a scared one. So you make the animal scared. So when the animal attack, you think the animal is attacking you for a reason. No, you made the animal scared because of what your spirit in, what your vibration is in. You see what I'm saying? Because so it's based upon vowels. So before it even become a sound, it has to be a vibration. So you got to sit there and have your vibration in the right place. You know what I'm saying? For an animal. That goes for a bear and anything. You could look a bear straight in the eye. A bear won't attack you. The moment you start paying attention to certain things you think is in your mind, but it's things you're catching. The moment you start paying attention to, what the fuck is this? It might bite me, or it might hit me, or this shit might smash me. The bear gonna pick that up like, rah! Like that. That's what it's feeding off. And then one thing leads to another, to the point that those interactions become actual actions. Then you end up getting slaughtered by a motherfucking lion or a bear. You know what I'm saying? When you could walk through a jungle, if you can understand, you could walk through a jungle if you can understand the way a lion moves. But a lot of y'all don't know how a lion move. Y'all just know the way a human move, and then y'all think y'all know the way a lion move. So when y'all go into the jungle, y'all start thinking shit, and then it start resonating with the lion spirit, and then the lion start to attack your ass because of the concepts that you have in your mind, and those concepts is creating auras around you. So that's what they picking up off. They picking up the Val, the right brain, the yin energy. They're not picking up your yang energy. And you constantly thinking what you don't know. Mercury is left brain. This is one of the first bodies your spirit. Look, your spirit ain't right or left brain. Your spirit is just your spirit. Your spirit is your space. Now your spirit create light forms. Now your light forms end up taking one side of your space. So that end up becoming a masculine shape or form or light or gas or sound, and then some of them end up becoming a feminine masculine sound or light or gas, and the feminine ones can become wombs, and the masculine ones could become the movement of the womb. You see what I'm saying? But you as a spirit, you're just creating these shapes and forms. You know what I'm saying? Your spirit ain't got no words, no language. So the only way you can tap into true spiritual nature is within you. Then you create a bunch of shapes and forms that start creating your right and left side of your whole existence, and your brain and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So Mercury is one that was one of your light forms you created that resonated with your light, your left side. You know what I'm saying? Shit like Mars is, shit like Venus and the moon and shit like that, and those ones was created more with your fucking right brain. You know, and the sun was the first light you created for yourself to be aware as a spirit. So that won't be bouncing back and forth, but it's the physical version of you. You know what I'm saying? From non-physical to physical. You know, we all know light becomes dense. So light becomes physical. So non-physical becomes physical, which is pure energy, which is the energy realm. And us as spirits in the astral realm, we create this. We create space between ourselves, our spirits, and create space and shit, and create these shapes and forms to intake. You know, so it goes fucking deep. But Flight Boss, bitch, this is how to communicate with animals, with vowels and consonants. And once you understand vowel and consonants, you understand how to communicate with each. Now, how many times did that dog bark? How many how many times did the bird do that? Right? Now the sound of it, did it go up and down, or did it start from down and up? Did it go left or right? Did it go forward? Did it go back? You hear? You. That's something that's starting somewhere, going up and going down. You know, emotional wise, when you go up, that's feeling happy, but then something goes down and you feel down. So if you're having a communication, but you're talking to a deaf person, the only way they can explain to you a conversation that when one part of the day they was happy and one part of the day they was sad, they may have to do shit like that. See what I'm saying? You get it? See, when you get into flight boss shit, none of us even need language anymore. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna get on this one world type shit. Not no one world government in the light shape and form. This one world spiritual shit, man. Archangel Uriel is here. How to talk to animals. Talk to them right. Because your spirit may be in a place where you just talking to your goddamn self. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air.